Our deepest wounds, when integrated, become our greatest power. The casting couch routine has been going on for ages, from top directors to the lowliest agents. I had to attend a meeting where 4 actresses filed complaints against the same person over his moral conduct. It's not a funny situation. My father was a very strong male figure to me as a child. He was very dashing, had a wonderful sense of humor, and was romantically handsome in the Scott Fitzgerald genre. It was a joy to do something sensual and sexy. It was exciting. I don't get many of those types of roles. I've never had a homosexual or bisexual experience, but it doesn't make me uncomfortable to dip into those feelings. I think a lot of women have those feelings without acting on them. It hasn't been easy for me to get roles in movies after so much exposure on television. There's an anathema about TV, and breaking away from it is difficult for almost everybody. It's an extraordinary experience to encounter the 2 kinds of deaths of my parents, one violent and jagged, it hits you like a tornado, the other gentle, with grace and dignity. I wanted to put my present joy in the context of all the past pain to show that there really is light at the end of the tunnel. Well, thank God I have this face, and it's a believable face, and that also seems to be my acting style. There wasn't exactly a plethora of physical affection in our family. Theater has always been my less fickle friend. I love those kinds of parts that don't seem to be huge, but they really strike a chord with the audience. There are problems in Canada. There is a certain inconsistency in the acting. I don't mean to sound chauvinistic, but we do have a larger supply of good actors in Hollywood. There are good actors in Canada, but not as wide a choice. I talk only about my journey because that's all I know. That's what the audience always pulls me back to. There's a hunger out there for the spoken journey, just to share the experience, the strength, the hope. At some point you've got to get to yourself and say, wait a minute, I've been handed this legacy, but I have to become accountable so I don't hand a lot of it on to my children. One of the wonderful things about Shakespeare is that he trusted an audience to move quickly with him. One moment, tragedy, the next, comedy. I modeled myself after Deborah Kerr for her romantic, untouched quality, Ingrid Bergman for her strength, and Kay Kendall for her wonderful sense of humor. I'm always in Jamaica in my fantasies. We have a home there, and it's my special spiritual place where I get renourished. My life was a legacy of death and humor. I enjoy live television a lot, but I'm not crazy about the hours. If you are on the right medication, stay on it and don't change. But if it doesn't seem to be working, then go to a doctor and find the right one for you. Humility is a very tough thing to have, especially when you're a tough guy. I give as much detail as I do about the bad times because people out there don't know that others have been through hell. But then, through the process of amazing grace, you hope that someone out there will hear what you have to say and that it may matter. It was a struggle to find myself. I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. There were too many defeats. I finally admitted defeat and went into therapy. I had married, had a child. I was content to stay at home. I had let go of the fantasy of stardom. Drinking made me a lot more free sexually. The restrictions were off. I was a compulsive, compliant good girl by day and a bad girl at night. I have a real trust that where I am is where I'm supposed to be. I may not be what I want to be or what I could be, but I sure ain't what I was. I'm impulsive, spontaneous. I have a joy in my life today that doesn't quit. During the years I was growing up, I was trying very hard to be a regular person. It seems to have taken me a long time to find my identity. I'm in the public eye, so I have a responsibility as an actress to my generation. I think that's what acting's all about. I didn't know anything about Star Trek. I was doing theater a lot in those days, getting my life together. I didn't watch television, so to come in on it was really amazing experience. Success in a career sometimes comes in strange ways. You grab it in whatever way it happens. What took some time for me to figure out was how to have a life outside my career, to find a way to be inclusive rather than exclusive. It came only after years of psychotherapy and deep soul searching. What people don't realize is that I've been trying to get to Bethlehem since I was 4 years old. By that, I mean I've been trying to attain perfection since I was a kid, and it took me more than 40 years to learn that it wasn't going to happen. I think I've proven that I'm issue-oriented and I'm not apolitical, but I'm not a journalist, and I don't want to be one with that veneer exterior. I'm not a compulsive worker, and I've never been a workaholic, so if I have a 3-week vacation, I don't want to do a movie of the week. I think my strength as a performer is my ability to straddle the fence between comedy and tragedy. My greatest strength as a person, I guess I get caught in it a lot, but I think it's my ability to put myself in someone else's shoes. I really began to feel that the minute I started becoming successful, somebody would die. For me, that is what my mission seems to be in my life on earth, to be awake, to stay awake, and to bring a certain kind of consciousness to the world and to myself. I always tell kids in high school or acting students to do something else around acting or not around it, just in your life that is of service. But I will say that TV was a great education for me. It allowed me to develop techniques for getting the job done. It's the best training ground since B-movies. It's much easier to do a TV series because an actress can stay put. A lot of people in show business don't know what I'm capable of doing. After I played the frigid doctor on the Paid in Place series, all I got for a long while was offers for more frigid doctor parts. Nobody knew I could do comedy until I started. Polaroid film taught me an enormous amount about the internal life a performance has to have, and that life has to be real. You can fake it on stage, but not for the camera. My career was one mistake after another. I was working a lot, but nothing was building, it wasn't going toward anything. I've tried to tone down some of my peppiness, but for those who don't like it, just as many do like it. Both mom and dad were blackout, killer drinkers. Dad came to school, football, games drunk. I'd find mom passed out in the bushes, scared and hiding. I've never done a musical before. I've sung off and on all of my life, but I have never, ever done a musical. It was a stumbling career at best before the Polaroid commercials. I think they definitely, if there's a word to use, focus, pardon the pun, cause I don't mean it that way, my career. I have tried very hard to sing. I've taken a lot of lessons. I've always wanted to. It's always been my dream. When you sing, you're releasing so much more than you are when you're speaking. You risk more as a singer. I feel my freest when I don't know where I'm going, when I'm not scripted and doing crazy things. I'm at my best when I'm thrown, even though I don't like to be thrown. It's what Kitty Carlisle said in her book, Don't Interview People about what they do, interview them about what they love. I want my interviews to come out of the side pockets. My happiest moments are when I'm on my high wire with the Johnny Carsons of the world. I don't have that opportunity if I'm doing other people's scripts. Once we make the commitment to help ourselves, we are able to help others, and the universe supports our commitments. Mariettte Hartley, born June 21, 1940, was born in Weston, Connecticut, the daughter of Mary Polly X. Watson, a manager and saleswoman, and Paul Hembry Hartley, an account executive. Her maternal grandfather was John B. Watson, an American psychologist who established the Psychological School of Behaviorism. She grew up in Weston, Connecticut, an affluent Fairfield County suburb within commuting distance to Manhattan. She graduated from the Carnegie Institute of Technology in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In 1965, Mariettte Hartley is an American film and television actress. She is possibly best known for her roles in film as Elsa Knudsen in Sam Peckinpah's Ride the High Country 1962, Susan Claiborne in Alfred Hitchcock's Marnie 1964, and Betty Lloyd in John Sturges' Marooned 1969. She has appeared extensively on television, with notable roles as Claire Morton in the ABC soap opera Paid in Place 1965, various roles in the CBS television Western drama series Gunsmoke, and a series of commercials with James Garner in the 1970s and 1980 Seconds. Hartley began her career as a 13-year-old in the White Barn Theater in Norwalk, Connecticut. In her teens as a stage actress, She was coached and mentored by Ava Le Gallienne. She graduated in 1957 from Staples High School in Westport, Connecticut, where she was an active member of the school's theater group, Staples Players. While a student at Staples, she boldly telephoned screenwriter Rod Serling to ask him to speak in her class. Serling answered the call himself, chose to visit and speak in her classroom, and years later, remembering their previous interaction, cast Hartley in an episode The Long Morrow of The Twilight Zone. Hartley also worked at the American Shakespeare Festival. Her film career began with an uncredited cameo appearance in From Hell to Texas 1958, a Western with Dennis Hopper. In the early 1960s, she moved to Los Angeles and joined the UCLA Theater Group. Hartley's first credited film appearance was alongside Randolph Scott and Joel McCrea in the 1962 Sam Peckinpah Western Ride the High Country. The role earned her a BAFTA Award nomination. She continued to appear in film during the 1960s, including the lead role in The Adventure Drums of Africa 1963, and prominent supporting roles in Alfred Hitchcock's psychological thriller Marnie 1964 alongside Tippi Hedren and Sean Connery and the John Sturges drama Marooned 1969. Hartley also guest starred in numerous TV series during the decade, with appearances in Gunsmoke 5 times, including the title character in Cotter's Girl in 1962, The Travels of Jamie McPheeters, Death Valley Days, Judd, For the Defense, Bonanza, and Star Trek as Zarabeth. Spock's love interest in S323 All Our Yesterdays, which aired on March 13, 1969 among others. In 1965, she had a significant role as Dr. Claire Morton in 32 episodes of Peyton Place.